If you're ready to experience more peace and joy in your life, if you want to feel more comfortable in your own skin, and if you're ready to discover and expand on your energetic gifts and personal power, you're in the right place. So here's your host, Kelle Sparta.
Hello and welcome to Spirit Guides Thursday Thoughts. This is the place where you will get to hear snippets of conversations I've had with people over the years and get a variety of thoughts for you to consider for today. Enjoy!
Hi, I'm Kelle Sparta, and this is part one of your three-part mini course that is on discovering the unresolved emotional baggage from your childhood that makes you feel unfulfilled despite being successful in every other way. So I want to talk to you in this part of the course about anger and what causes the anger. So I'm going to tell you a story. I'm going to tell you a story about a client. We're going to call her Andrea. That's not her real name, but we're going to call her Andrea. And I want to talk to you about how she would go through this process of conflict avoidance, followed by buildup of upset, followed by, explosion, and then regret, right? And if you are from a challenged childhood, like Andrea was, then you probably are recognizing this little pattern. But I want to go into it in more detail for you. So what would happen is that Andrea would be wandering through her life, blithely being okay, and then something would happen that just wasn't okay with her. And she would get upset. And the problem is that she wasn't very good at confrontation. She hated confrontation because, God forbid, somebody decide they don't like her anymore, and now she's been abandoned and she feels alone. And so she really avoids conflict as much as humanly possible, because on the other side of it too is the fact that if the other person comes back at her face, now she's also feeling like she's going to die because they're like coming at her face, and she's just feeling like it's all her fault and it's a problem, right? So she's panicking and she feels like she's dying inside. And then on the other hand, there's this chance that while she's having this feeling, part of her is going to rear up and go, and it's just going to smash the other person to a million pieces on the ground and destroy them. And when she does that, she feels really bad about it because she's really a heartful person. She has a big heart and she cares a lot about people. And so when you go through this process, that's something that's going to make you avoid conflict, right? And then what happens is that, she would avoid the conflict, and then they would do the same thing again, and she would avoid the conflict again, and then something else would happen, and she'd avoid the conflict and not say anything. And she'd just eat it and eat it and eat it until she couldn't eat it anymore, and she just destroyed the person. She'd just be like, blah! Right? Just out of the blue, just boom. And the person's like, I spilled some milk. Why are you going postal on me? This is not okay. And she was like, I know, I'm sorry, but you did this and this and this and this and this, right? And the other person's sitting there completely gobsmacked because they're like, what are you talking about? I don't even remember these things, because some of these things are like months old by the time she gets to it, right? And so this is the cycle, right? Of avoid the conflict, have the conflict, right? And you can't. If you want to do that, it's your call. But I will tell you that I have been on the other side of that. And my first husband was a classic person at doing this. And at one point I looked at him and I was like, okay, here's the deal. Unless you express your upset in the moment, I'm not interested in hearing it, because you come to me with something 3 months later and I don't remember the issue. I don't remember what we were talking about. I don't remember, and therefore I'm not interested in being yelled at about it. If I can't fix it, there's no point in you yelling me about it. And so this is what it's like from the other side. Okay. So the key to this is a very simple fix. Okay. It's a very simple fix. Speak early, speak often. If something upsets you, say so right now. Don't wait. Don't put it off. Don't think, oh, it'll get better. It doesn't get better. If you don't tell somebody there's a problem, they have no reason to change their way of being. So speak early, speak often, and you will not have this form of anger, explosion, upset, and then problems with your relationships because you went overboard. So that's my message for you for today. I will talk to you on the next video.
And that's it for this week's Thursday Thoughts. Join us tomorrow for the Ascend Day on the Spirit Guides podcast.
So that's it for today's episode of Spirit Guides Podcast. Head on over to iTunes, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you listen and subscribe to the show. Every week, one lucky listener who subscribes and posts a review on iTunes will be entered into a drawing for a $10,000 value grand prize and a private reading with Kelle Sparta herself. Be sure to head on over to spiritguidespodcast.com and pick up a free copy of Kelle's gift and join us on the next episode.